Right. Good morning, District 44. It is an early Saturday morning, and we're glad that you have chosen to be here with us today. You could have been doing anything else. Well, we are at the tail end of our Pathways training, and today we will be talking about level 5. Please welcome to our virtual stage our facilitator for today's training, Toastmaster Latanya McLean.
Hi, everyone. Woo! We made it. We are here. Level 5. Let's go. Listen, you've known our vision all along. We are here to help you learn all you can about Pathways so you can maximize its benefits and its usage. Our pathway system is worldwide. It stores and tracks our path's journey over 5 levels. And we are crossing the finish line today. Listen, we need to learn our project objectives, match those to our work, life, and community activities, and apply them in real life scenarios or create a scenario that works for you. Receive the credit for all of the work that you're doing in and outside of Toastmasters so you can optimize your path. Access your path by logging in, entering your email or member ID and password. Guess what? I woke up this morning. Pathways has the Toastmasters International has changed the website again. So you want to go ahead and access your path by logging in and either clicking go to Basecamp and access that, or go to Pathways and then go to Basecamp from there. Level 5, demonstrating your expertise. You know me, get on that schedule. Check your schedule and then get on the agenda so you can continue your path. Listen, we want you to demonstrate your expertise. Put your skills into action. Use your voice of advocacy. What are you good at? So a lot of people say, this is my lane. Well, get in your lane and become the subject matter expert. Explore your ideas, collaborate with others, and I know for a fact you will increase your confidence. Here's our pattern. We know that our designation letters is based on the path we chose. And according to the last one we completed, which was level 4, our designation has been updated to 4. Our example we're using at the bottom here is visionary communication. So your name will show your path designation of VC for visionary communication, if that's the one you chose, and level 4 for the last one we completed. Remember, if you have your DTM either from the legacy program or you've just received your DTM and you're working on another path, remember you will not see the changes anymore from one level to the next level because you've achieved the highest that you can go, which is the DTM. So you won't see those changes. Make sure you update your club's agenda with the updated last paths completed. So for demonstrating your expertise, level 5, for example, we're using presentation mastery. You only have these 2 projects, 3 task items. Remember, there are a total of 3 task items, but truly, you just deliver your speech and choose an elective and you will be done. So in this example, it's 34% complete for the level because the main project has not yet been completed. But you see here 100% complete for the electives. You only had to do one. Once completed, boom, that's done. But you do see there are 5 possible choices of electives. For levels 3, 4, and 5, you may request that an employer letter be sent of your achievement to your Basecamp manager. Let them know, listen, here's my employer's name and the email, and then that will be submitted on your behalf. What if you own your own business? You don't work for anyone. Well, that's okay. You can send it to your business to yourself. All right. The difference in the after you finish level 5, you still have to complete your path. So let's look at the left side here. So you have levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And at the bottom, there's another section to complete called path completion. You're going to reflect on your path. That's a 5 to 7 minute speech. And then you will submit, and boom, the whole path will be completed. You do know, of course, that there are two projects because we just mentioned that. One is required, which is path specific, and one is an elective. You're going to wrap up your path by doing the reflect on your path. And remember, if you're a dual member, you should log into each of the clubs when you are in that club meeting to then allow your other members to award a badge to you or you to award a badge to them. And also it gives an advantage for your Basecamp manager to be able to process your award under that club. And also projects can be done outside of the club environment. We call them external training, and they are unlimited. We used to have a limitation of just two per award. Now they are unlimited. Go to the ellipses to the right on your Paths and Learning page. Here's your Paths and Learning page here on the Basecamp. Click the ellipses and drop down, add external training. Fran is going to be doing a more in-depth of this method and how you submit these and conduct these. On the training form, the external training form, you want to do your who, what, when, where's, and how's and complete this form and hit submit. Again, this is just a review from the last training. Just wanted to mention it one more time. Once you select what you want to call your project, it will pop to the transcript and you'll be able to open it. Now we're to the meat of level 5. What to expect? Choose one requirement to support your skills while you're demonstrating your expertise. And let's look at what are available across all the paths. Develop your vision. Deliver your message with humor. High performance leadership. Lead in any situation. Leading in your volunteer organization. Manage successful events. Prepare to speak professionally. And team building. Let's look at those requirements in detail. So the way I've organized this is by the paths themselves alphabetically. So we're going to start with dynamic leadership, but team collaboration happens to also have this requirement: lead in any situation. So the purpose of this project is for you to share some aspect of your experience as a leader and then or the impact of the 360 evaluation. You're going to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. You're going to spend a significant amount of time, let's say a minimum of 6 months, in a leadership role in an organization. You're going to receive feedback from your peers in the form of a 360 evaluation. That is one of the resources in the project. And then deliver a speech to reflect on your experience as a leader or the impact of the 360-degree evaluation. That time requirement is 8 to 10 minutes. Any style, humorous, informational, whatever style you want to present, that is just fine. Now use this opportunity to highlight your impact on the organization. And guess what? It's a great value add to your own personal resume. The high performance. Now, the high performance allows you to do a big project. This applies to the effective coaching path, innovative planning path, and persuasive influence. You can apply your leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. Isn't that awesome? Don't you have a project that you have to do? Well, here's an opportunity to get some help. First, you will choose what topic you want to focus on and what's the scope of time you want to complete this project. You have 2 speeches in this project. Both will be 5 to 7 minutes. The first speech introduces your vision and plan You hadn't implemented it yet. You're just thinking about what you want to do and get really clear on what that vision is. And then that's a 5 to 7 minute. You would go to the club, set that up on the agenda, and go. The second speech, past the 6 month period of time or whatever time you set, after you are done with the project, we used to call this presenting the results. Now they just call it a second speech. That's fine too. And then you share some aspect of your experience completing this project. The next one is deliver message with humor. This is an engaging humor path requirement. You're going to practice developing and presenting a longer humorous speech. Present an engaging, humorous keynote style speech that also delivers a strong core message. This will be about 18 to 22 minutes. And here's an opportunity for you to develop a story to engage a larger targeted audience in your community or an upcoming event. Here's an opportunity for you to get that done. Demonstrating your expertise by managing successful events. This is available in the leadership development path. You're going to practice planning, organizing, leading, and implementing an event. Rod was just talking about they needed help on the district level to implement some of these events, and Kilmikas was talking about maybe it could be a social aspect. This is an opportunity for you to share also your experience of implementing that event. You're going to spend a significant amount of time and effort planning and holding an event. Give a brief description of that event, information about the planning process, and the impact of that plan and or event. Afterwards, you're going to deliver your 5 to 7 minute story about your experience. This is an opportunity for you to step outside of your comfort zone of fear and get that project done. Okay? What about demonstrating your expertise team building? Team building is needed throughout all organizations, and motivational strategies path allows you to practice those skills needed to build a cohesive team and host an event. A lot of these in level 5 are hosting events, facilitating panel discussions, or that kind of things. A lot of leadership roles in this one. Your purpose is to spend a significant amount of time building a team and developing a team building event. You have 2 speeches. First, introduce the team building event you plan to host. And the second speech is to share some aspect of your experience building that team and leading a team building event. Your time requirements are for the first speech, 2 to 3 minutes, just to introduce what you're going to do. And then the second one is to kind of wrap up and tell us what happened. This is a way for you to have an opportunity to improve, let's say, an aspect at work or in your community. You're going to demonstrate your expertise by preparing to speak professionally. Think about what it is that you do in life. The presentation mastery path offers you the opportunity to practice developing and presenting a longer speech, 18 to 22 minutes, such as a keynote style. You can demonstrate that excellent presentation skills you've learned from the basic mechanics of public speaking to advanced mechanics of public speaking and deliver a compelling content in a directed targeted audience. I want you to think big. I want you to think annual convention. Yeah, that's me. What about leading in a volunteer organization? You must know this is one of my favorite ones because I mention it all the time. But it is also a requirement for the strategic relationships path. Now you're going to apply those skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. You're going to be working for a minimum of 6 months either in Toastmasters as a volunteer organization, or you can use this as your external training opportunity to be the leader, or if you are a leader, to use this project for that leadership role in another organization, volunteer organization. You are going to develop a succession plan to aid the transition of your role. You're going to get the feedback from members of the organization in the form of the 360-degree evaluation. And then share some aspect of your experience serving as a leader in a volunteer organization in that 5 to 7 minute speech. Essentially, you're going to take the opportunity to create a guidebook on the successful things that you've done and accomplished in the role and lessons learned. So you can pass that on to the next leader. Don't have the next person suffering like I'm taking my guidebook with me. No, leave it there. Take a copy maybe so you can remember what to do in the next role. But definitely make the transition a smooth one. I was just complaining to my new boss, how come I wasn't transitioned smoothly? No. So actually it's not a volunteer organization, but it's still an opportunity for me to create some protocols and processes that will help the next person whenever I leave in the way yonder future. Visionary communication offers an opportunity for you to develop your vision. Katrina and I were talking about this particular path. A lot of people are really sleeping on because it's in the V section. It's the very last one. Nobody really looks at it because they're like, oh, these other ones are so great. But they sleep on this one. And I think this was a hitting jewel. You have the opportunity to develop a detailed vision for your life, your professional life, your personal life, or an organization. You're going to have the opportunity to choose your own topic and have 2 speeches delivered in the club. The first speech, you're going to share some aspect of the vision and then implement, of course, what you need to do is according to the project terms, and then come back later, do the second speech and share some aspect of what you implemented about that vision. Both of these speeches are both 5 to 7 minutes, and it gives you the opportunity to gain much clarity on the project of your dreams, especially if it's for a personal use. Excuse me, sorry. The electives, choose one elective to help demonstrate your expertise of communication and leadership skill. The electives, there are 6 electives actually: ethical leadership, high performance leadership, leading in a volunteer organization, lessons learned, moderate a panel discussion, and prepare to speak professionally. Well, Latanya, didn't you just mention some of these? Yes. So most of the paths, all of the paths have one requirement. At that top level we talked about earlier, there were 2 projects that you needed to do. The electives are, if it's not a requirement in one path, it becomes basically the elective in the other paths. So we're going to look at that in more detail here shortly. But the highlighted ones here, the high performance, leading in a volunteer organization, and prepare to speak professionally, are also electives, and they rotate out, are also requirements and now electives. So let's look at that. Here's a new one, the ethical leadership. This is available in all paths except presentation mastery. You're going to develop a clear understanding of your ethical framework and create an opportunity for others to hear about and discuss ethics in your organization or community. You will spend time developing a personal ethical framework, organize a panel discussion, invite those speakers, and define the topic. You're going to select a minimum of 3 panel members, and one of those members have to be, or people have to be, outside of Toastmasters. They cannot be a member. This will be conducted over a course of 20 to 40 minutes. And this is going to definitely give you an opportunity to host or facilitate a specific discussion you probably have been thinking about and may not want to discuss in the larger room or your club, or it didn't have enough time to discuss the topic. Maybe it was more complex, more provoking. This is an opportunity to do that and then discuss the ethical leadership piece of it. And it's coming back today. What about the high performance leadership? The high performance leadership is not only a requirement in effective coaching, innovative planning, and persuasive influence, it is now an elective for the other paths. You will be applying your leadership and planning knowledge to develop a plan and organize a guidance committee. It's usually about 3 people on that guidance committee, no more than 3. It gets to be a little more complicated trying to organize meetings. And then you're going to implement that plan with the help of the team. Choose a topic or project you want to work on. Choose the time to complete that. Again, we've discussed this. You have 2 speeches, 5 to 7 minutes, what you're going to do, and then what you've done. Okay. We've talked about leading in a volunteer organization. Just wanted to highlight it is an elective in all the paths except for strategic relationships because it's a requirement for strategic relationships. This is a new one, lessons learned. Lessons learned, it applies to all of the paths, and it's about you applying the skills needed to run a lessons learned meeting during a project or after its completion. So it's almost like a meeting within the meeting. So you got to work with the team to complete a project, right? Then you're going to have several meetings during the project or at its culmination when it concludes to facilitate those lessons learned meetings, all right? Choose to speak about an aspect of the lessons learned meeting or the impact of leading a team or any other topic you choose for 5 to 7 minutes in the club. This is an opportunity also to go back and grab that active listening skill project and incorporate it. This is another new one. Moderate a panel discussion. This applies to all paths. You're going to apply your skill as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. You're going to spend some time, may not be a whole lot of time, but you're going to spend some time planning a panel discussion on a specific topic. Organize that panel discussion and invite at least 3 panelists. The time is 20 to 40 minutes. Kilmikas and I and Rod, I think Katrina, we just mentioned that we wanted some social aspect to bring more members together into the club. Go see Woman King or Wakanda, or whatever hot movie is out right now. This is a great project to use to have panelists from different clubs to come and offer their expertise based on whatever topic. Let's say, what activities can we generate to involve more Toastmasters to get people re-energized or something like that, right? But that person who's running this panel discussion or moderating this panel discussion has to be well organized and definitely moderate it well, okay? This is an elective for all paths except presentation mastery because we know why. It's a requirement for presentation mastery. We just spoke about preparing to speak professionally. So we know this is an 18 to 22-minute keynote speech. Well, what else do we need to know about the electives? What if you complete more than the minimum required? For example, only 1 is required. That's how many are required for level 5, and you've done 2. High performance leadership and leading in a volunteer organization. Well, what do I do with the other one? Well, you just applied in the second path. Well, how do I get a second path? Well, we did a video on that one. So you go to our YouTube channel and make sure you like and subscribe, and then watch the Choose a Path video. Or you go back into your Toastmasters account and go to Pathways, and down below it says Choose a Path, and it will guide you from there. Either way, apply it to the next one. So I know you probably thought I forgot about our 6-week plan, but I did not. Here it is. Remember, we are doing a communication skill and a leadership skill. We're kind of offsetting that, but now we've gotten a chance to conclude 30 meetings and get our path completed. Here we have our 25th meeting, managing a difficult audience, which was a requirement for level 4 in presentation mastery, is on the communication skill. Our meek weeding, I'm meek. I made up a whole nother word for meeting and week. So what I'm trying to say is week number 26 is our club meeting role. So you serve in the leadership role, let's say Toastmaster of the day. And you've already updated all those roles before. So you can update your Basecamp profile or not because it's already in there. And week 27, you can lead in a volunteer organization. For presentation mastery, a path is an elective. Okay. Elective on level 5. Week 28, you can finish up your mentoring. You thought I forgot about that mentoring program. I did not. You can conclude your mentoring program and go ahead and get that concluded from your transcript and finish your short term or long term from the Pathways Mentor Program. And you don't have to, it's not a path related, it's a side program, so it's not related to presentation mastery, but it's nonetheless a communication skill. And week 29, prepare to speak professionally, required, and prepare to find like another organization that needs a speaker in the community. That will be a great opportunity for you to complete that program or that project for level 5 in presentation mastery. And boom, we're done. Path completion. Of course, I know you can get through the levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in a short order of time. But this path completion pretty much is after 6 months, and then you're done. You do your speech in the club, and you're good to go. All right. Make sure you update level 5 section of your pathways tracking form. It accommodates your requirement, your elective, and the reflect on your path. That's just where we put it right there. Now, there are other reports that you want to pay attention to that is in your under your profile. So offices held, you can see other reports are called offices held and club history, club support history. So what these mean is, so this is mine. For example, I've served as VPE this last year or starting again this year, July 1, going to for a whole year. So now it's 1 year. It used to be 6-month increments. So you can see the history there. And then the club support, what does that part mean? Well, I've supported other clubs in various ways. I've coached, I've mentored, I've sponsored. So these are all the ones I've done way back in the day. They still apply towards my first DTM and my second DTM that I'm working on, my second one. So now you've demonstrated your expertise and demonstrate your appreciation to your club members by awarding them a badge. Make sure you go in here. Make sure for dual members, you have to go and log into that club, and then you'll be able to award badges and receive badges for that specific club. If you're not a dual member, you just go in here and find your club member. Let's say they picked Andrew. He's a club treasurer. Pick him and award a badge. All the badges will appear on the My Badges tab. When you've completed your level 5, that will show here. Someone awards you a badge, that will show here. Okay? Listen, you've done a great job completing all of your levels, and especially level 5. You've gotten over that hump and crossed the finish line. And now your club will benefit you and your club. So the Basecamp manager will approve your award once you push it through in Basecamp and process it in Club Central. And that Basecamp manager is processing levels, DTMs, and Pathway Mentor programs. And the levels and DTMs go toward the club distinction program. The DCP is what we call it, the Distinguished Club Program. And you can become select distinguished, select, president distinguished. And the Pathways Mentor Program, along with the levels and DTMs, also help you to receive a Triple Crown or Super Achiever. So we've completed level 5 on our DCP, and that will show up as 1 done because you only need 1 is required, and 1 will be done once you push that through. And it's just demonstrated again too here. Once 2 people push their level 5s or level 4 DTMs, it's a mix of those 3. You can get 1 point plus another point. Listen, self-development is a lifelong process. The Chinese proverb says, if you tell me, I'll forget. If you show me, I may remember, but if you involve me, I'll understand. And I want you to know you cannot fail in Toastmasters. There's no A or F grading system in here. But this is not high school or college. This is a self-development, self-paced program. And you will be receiving those benefits from Toastmasters if you continue to show up, practice, and put in the work that you want to receive from it. I want to thank all of our champions and send my condolences for our recent champion that we've lost recently here, Akbar M. Hope. I cannot pronounce Imhotep Akbar. We lost him. My condolences to your family, but we will honor you and say thank you right now as our past champion. Thank you so much, Akbar, and know you are enjoying yourself in heaven. I would love to get your feedback on this presentation and the information that could be useful to you and your club members. Please send us some feedback to pathways@d44toastmasters.org. Definitely go to our Pathways YouTube channel, like and subscribe so you will be notified of any other videos that we will be posting. We do have many videos that are coming that will be about 3 to 4 minutes long, and we have those coming up in the next month or two. So be on the lookout for that. And I would like to invite any questions at this time. Let's see, stop share. Okay, great. All right. How's it going out there? Hey, Ann. I know you have questions.
Well, I apologize. For being late. I thought I had registered and I
That's
thought it was
okay.
going to show up.
That's
I
okay. You're
apologize.
here, and we're
Yep.
glad you're here. What's your
Yeah, so
question?
I'll watch the beginning,
Okay,
once it gets posted.
sure. You know the beginning, so we just kind of
Oh.
let you know that there was some new changes on the Toastmasters website
Mhm.
of how, like, what it looks like when you're logging
Mhm.
in and how to get places. So just kind of mention that a little bit. And actually, they walk you through that as a quick little demo. They walk you
Mhm.
through that, so you didn't miss much there. But other than that, I think you came on when we were getting right into the meat of it.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Gwen, what's your question?
Okay.
All right. Get my
on,
opinion.
on the ethical leadership, I know you said three to you got kind of three 2 to 3 people to speak, one from the outside.
Yep.
Okay, and that 20 to 40 minutes, does that count for the speech, or how did that work?
You're doing a panel discussion. All of these are
Okay.
panels.
So just need a panel. No,
Fran looks like she's like, exactly. Fran, chime in here. Because I didn't do that project.
I did. I was a panelist just this last week for one of my clubs, and
Ooh.
they basically you have to determine what you want to discuss in the panel, and then you as the moderator will ask a question of each of the panelists. You may ask each of the panelists the same question to get a different perspective on the one question, or you may ask them different questions based on whatever format you come up with. If you want to, we discussed whether college education was relevant in today's world. And she was doing that because she was trying to, I think, convince one of her children that they did need to go to college. But there are different perspectives, and we had an attorney, myself as an accountant, and another person that was a teacher. So there were different perspectives on that particular panel. And the moderator just goes in and makes a comment and then introduces the question and thanks the panelists when they are finished, and then calls on the next question. So the whole thing, in our case, I think it took about 27 minutes. It's 20 to 40, and it just kind of flowed. It was an excellent panelist discussion.
Thank you, Fran. Did that help you?
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody else serve on a panel or moderate on this call? Nope. Thank you, Fran, for sharing that. Go ahead, Gwen.
Oh, it's kind of based like a debate sometime too then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're on mute, friend. Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
I said it could, but you don't want it to get out of hand. So you're the moderator and you have to kind of guide them back into where you want them to be.
Okay, thank you.
Have you seen the political discussions being moderated on TV, Gwen?
Yes.
And how the one person in the middle is kind of, you know, they're sitting at the table, or they actually what I think the governor's race was like a more of a panel. And
Mhm.
then the senator's race is that one major person or something like that. I may have those mixed up, but there's a timer in the back too. They're like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and then they'll say something. If they include their name, it's a rebuttal time, 10 seconds. So it's a timer back there timing and make sure the respondents have just, you know, a little bit of time, because it's eating your time. You're in control. So just think that kind of style. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your other question?
Why do you think I got questions?
Because I told you you're supposed to have some questions or something.
Okay, and other was when you
See.
said something that I think I think which one is the leadership. Okay, when you it's like 6 months. Okay, you can you start like, let's say if I'm on level 1 and I kind of go ahead and start them 6 months things to be ready by
Yeah,
the
so
6
which
months.
leadership one? Are you talking about the mentor one? Are you mentoring for 6 months, the long-term one? Or are you talking about, I think it's leadership, volunteering an organization, leading in a volunteer organization? Let's pick an easier one. Let's try this one and then we'll get clearer on your question. So leading in a volunteer organization for this project, for what dictates our start time is Toastmasters. So when we become an officer, we're usually voting people in and out, you know, at the tail end of December to start January, or the tail end of June to start July, right? Toastmasters dictate what time we start. And so when we're using that project, we're basing it on either the last 6 months we have served as an officer or in the current 6-month period, right? So again, that's in Toastmasters. Let's say you're in a different volunteer organization that time could have just started whenever the 6 months, like when you started 4 months ago, you just have two more months on your time of leadership. But in a leadership role, they usually are starting at a said time, like a calendar year or a fiscal year, that kind of thing, to keep order around it. That's what we're talking about. Or if you're doing lead in any situation, if you're doing that one, your time can start whenever your time starts. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
No, not this time.
Okay. And feel free. I want you to ask more questions, because the clearer you ask, the more you ask questions, that will prompt. See, this video is being recorded. That will prompt other people to begin asking more questions. So don't feel like I've asked too many questions. Ask away. I'm one that sits on the front row and asks questions and tick everybody off in the back of me. I can't see them, so it really doesn't matter. But they're glad I asked that question. They won't tell me at that moment, but I learned later they were glad I asked that question. Okay, so I'll come back to you. Ann?
So let's talk about mentoring.
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk about it.
My club currently does not have a mentor program in place.
Okay.
And I'm going to say at least half of the people are on level 1 or 2.
Okay.
And we only have 9 people, so that's an issue as well.
It's
And
all
then
good. You got good 9 people.
Yeah. So and then the others are, you know, are 3, 4, and 5, but nobody is stepping up to say, yes, I'll be a mentor. So how do we get that rolling?
Okay. So you are which role in your club?
Say that again?
officer role are you?
Oh, I'm VPE.
Okay, so me too. As the VPE, we have a certain leadership role. We are second in command, right? We're second ranked. Usually if my president is out, right, we step up in rank,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So leaders lead by example. And so when I say that, I'm saying that to say, let me give you an example of what I did. So I had 3 new people that come in February. Another one came in, I think January or March, right after. So it's about 4 or 5 people I was mentoring. Okay. I knew I only had, like you said, 9 people in the club. Not a lot of people are experienced. How do I get them up to par? So I took it on my shoulder to get those core people that just came in and train them. Train them the way I know they need to be trained. I know the questions they don't know to ask. So I'm going to give them the answers before they have to ask it. And then give them a script and give them what they need. February, March, April, May, June, July. They were officers in July. They have become officers of the club. They are doing Toastmaster of the day. They have been completed levels 2. They're done with 2. So in that short order of time, they're asking, what do? I say, here's what you do. I don't say, here's what's hard. Here's what you don't do. Girl, don't do that one. I don't do that. I say, here's what you do next. Here's the script for it. Here's the information around it. Let's set up a call to go over it. Now they have mentees. What's next? You have to mentor like I mentor you, but not like I mentor you, because that was a lot. You just mentor a little bit what you know. And then I'll help support that group. So now we have 3 mentoring 3 more.
Okay.
Now it took a
Great.
6-month investment for me, but that was a 6-month and 3-month investment for me. But that was actually they got rid of me because they're like, we got it. Do we have to meet today? No, we don't. You don't want to meet with me? I kind of felt offended. No, it's like they got everything they needed. So they will wean you off when they're ready.
Okay.
Okay. But you have to get more people trained to help train other people.
Right.
That makes sense. Kelmikas
Absolutely.
is going to add to the conversation, and Fran is going to tack on top. Go ahead, Kelmikas.
I wanted to
answer.
ask a couple of questions, and I have been looking for a club like yours. I am actually the co-chair of our district's mentorship committee, and we have been looking for clubs that need help getting a mentoring program put together or helping you strengthen one that currently exists. How long has your club been in existence?
I think about 9 or 13 years.
So you're a pretty established club. And I know many clubs are struggling with their membership numbers right now. Mine is included. And so sometimes we either have new clubs where everybody's new and doesn't really know what to train each other on, or in your case, you may just have so few people, your resources are stretched.
Right.
So I'm going to drop our email address in the chat. I want to find out more details about what your club needs. We find that sometimes it's a club issue, and sometimes it could be an individual member issue, and everybody's needs may be different. So we may have to take an individualized approach as well. And then in addition to that, because you are below 12 members, your club qualifies for a club coach as well. And if you haven't requested one, that is another option. But the mentorship team, we have been working with Rod to redirect our focus. So we're much stronger with our approach to our district members going into the next year, the next 6 months, and the next Toastmasters year. So reach out to us through the email address I'll drop in the chat so we can talk a little more. We may be able to help you.
Oh, fabulous. That would be great.
Thank you.
You got a lot of experience on this one call here.
Right. We just started working with a club coach, Deborah Taylor, and I don't know if if we can work club mentoring along with Deb?
You should be able to. It just
Fabulous.
depends on what
Yeah.
the club
Absolutely.
coach may be addressing something different than what I would with an individual member.
Gotcha. Okay, fabulous.
And I heard
Rod, did you
Rod
have
mention,
something?
I was just gonna say the best thing to do would be a collaborative approach. So get with the area director, get with your club coach, get with your mentor, get with the club officer committee, and together you guys come up with a plan that works best for the club.
Okay.
Fran,
Okay, I just wanted to say that when I started with Toastmasters, the first thing that happened was someone, I will say, I think she was maybe the vice president of membership, but she just kind of befriended me and said, you know, we're going to help you. This is what you need to know. Let me show you this. And she didn't even make me feel like I was being mentored, but I was. And so maybe sometimes the headgear of being a mentor, if you put it that way, is a little bit heavy for both sides. So I used to work for a company, and when a new employee came along, you got a buddy. And so we just called it for a little bit a buddy program. You know, a new member came in, this is your established buddy. It's kind of like joining a sorority and you have a sister that helps you along. Not that I ever had a sorority, but I know how how that works. But that's just kind of what happened. And then we had that particular VPM officer give a presentation on how easy it was to be a mentor and simple things that you had to do, you know, meet with them for 15 minutes a week or call or whatever, make it twice a week if you felt like they needed it. Answer their questions, help them through the first 3 speeches that they had to give them feedback individually. And it just turned out to be a very good way to introduce mentoring without the overall heavy armor of being a mentor. You know, people said, I don't feel like I know enough. If you've been through level 1 and 2, you know enough. If you, in the old system, if you've given a couple of 3 speeches out of the competent communication manual, you knew enough. You could tell them what to expect. And that's really all mentoring is, sharing your experience.
thank you, Fran. That was a nice wraparound because you're right. You don't have to know what we know, but you just know one good thing to help them along, because the new members, they're trying to digest this new palette of information, and it's very difficult because it's a different language they've not experienced. So, and on top of that, we're dealing with not just the information, which is easier to deal with, it's their fear we're walking them through. That's what we're
Yeah.
mainly dealing with. Is, remember, it's the second or biggest fear of all people besides dying and taxes. That's scary. The taxes thing. Oh, Fran, I might need some help. No, I'm just saying. But that's what we're really walking people through. It's okay on this side of the fence. Come on, you can be the Toastmaster of the day. What is that? It's a lot. I got to do the agenda. How you do the agenda? I got to email it. Oh my God, I haven't used email in ages. Or whatever the fears are with technology or the processes to do a certain task. If you just have all of your 9 members that are seasoned, or all of the ones that are seasoned, do one thing to help a different person in the club, like Fran said, buddy them up, do one thing per month. That would get everybody moving forward. The person that wants to move faster, they'll let you know, well, what's next? Well, what's next? Well, give me some more. Just dump it right on them. They're like, okay, this is enough. This is enough. So, you know, they will tell you. They will tell you, the new people will. They will guide you in how to go and stop, go, push, and pull back. They will let you know. They definitely let me know. And that's enough time. We don't want to meet anymore. It's like, well, let me know if you need help. And they will. They'll reach back out.
Okay.
That help you?
It does. And One of the things that we've just recently instituted in our meetings is an education minute. So somebody has 2 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. So that is a perfect segue for an experienced person to teach something to everyone else.
I like a lessons learned minute. I think I'm gonna suggest that to my club here in a minute. It's like, let's do that one because you never know. We give
Mhm.
feedback so often. We don't receive it because we're always given the feedback. So we need to get some feedback on the feedback. So if that makes sense. So I like the lessons learned panel discussion, whatever, but I, I think maybe that will be something that I introduce
Mhm.
suggest to my club as well. Maybe a lessons learned minute to get the pulse of the new members, like where they are in their thinking. Yeah.
I
Katrina?
like Fran and Kamika's idea because it kind of reminded me of our discussion beforehand of how to combine them virtually, of getting the mentorship because in my career, that was one of my things. I always got the team that I always come into a situation that seemed like it's an organizational restructure. And so, with organizational restructures, it is always morale is down. And if you don't pick up the passion of the people and reignite why you're even attached to the purpose of like, why we all here sitting here together and remind them of the whys and then also show how the alignment to move forward. What are the paths of why people are here? The small engagements of just saying small things. Yeah, let's just go to lunch. Let's take the planning meeting outside and remember what was this piece for. So coming into Toastmasters, when I first got into Toastmasters a long time ago, in that role, it was because it was identified as something to work on for speaking. And so when I got to Toastmasters, I wasn't really involved because I'm like, I don't want to write a speech. What does this have to do with my leadership skills? Like, what does this have to do with my career path? What does this have to do with any of this stuff? Until somebody sat down, they kept hearing me ask questions because I am someone like, what am I here for? They took the time to actually say, this is how it applies to your life. This is what you can do so it's not another task. I'm like, this seems like another job. I know what volunteering is, but y'all gave me some extra work. And so I had in how it aligned with my passions. So sometimes those small conversations reignite and just getting in the room, not where it's a forced conversation, where you're bonded with other people that's kind of in the midst and going, why are we here? Why did you join Toastmasters? Oh, well, you joined it for a different reason. Nobody explained that reason to me. So visiting other clubs, even if it's not taking on membership, kind of like a meet and greet, going around in the other community members. What are you doing? Just having those conversations and making it intentional of, hey, even like a goal for the district. We invite what club can visit 5 other clubs or this month, I don't know, this quarter, however it goes, because we have meetings every week to invite just to see what other neighbors are doing to inspire back to the purpose of it's not just, we're not just coming here to do speeches. We're not just coming to teach you the life skills of organization. There is fun being adult. This is adult fun. And let's get out that adult fun with purpose. So I think visiting and not even saying we're coming to mentor you, because then sometimes that does feel like when you're getting it from, especially it's coming from headquarters. So it doesn't feel as friendly, making the requirements or getting the job done by just doing the community aspect. Community is an action, not just a environment.
Yeah, it is very difficult to, thank you so much, Katrina. It's very difficult for people to understand. Yeah, we do extra work, but the main heart of it is our life being dropped in and across this program. And a lot of people are not getting that connection, I'm finding. I look at it from that perspective because the objectives speak to me in certain ways. This says do it this way, but I have something that matches that and that applies to me personally so I can get that project done. And yeah, that is fun. I like that adult fun. because everybody's fun is not the same. You know, a lot of people are like, why you don't go to homecoming? Because I don't want to sit there and watch football for 4 hours. That's not my type of fun. I will sit and listen to an hour worth of speeches though. But then they'll say, that's not my fun. Exactly. Everybody's fun is different. Yes, sir. Rod.
I did want to also share that people may not be aware that the speech contest that's upcoming is going to be crucial that you participate in Pathways, because War Headquarters has made a major change for the requirements, and that you must complete a level 1 and 2 in Pathways before you can compete in any level of the contest. They're no longer taking into consideration the CC manuals. So that's important for those who want to compete. They're really trying to help people to become more comfortable with Pathways, and now they're kind of forcing the issue because so many people are not in Pathways. So that's something to keep in mind, that if you have a passion to compete in the speech contest, it's going to be important now that you move through these projects and levels and Pathways.
I thought that was already a requirement. I must have missed that.
It
That
was a
was-
requirement, but they also included the CC manual. They also included the CC designation.
I
Now
missed that.
they have removed the CC designation. It is Pathways only.
And that's just for the international speech, right?
It's across all levels. It
That's
was,
what I thought. It was everything.
Table topics and everything?
yep. If it initially was just only for the international speech contest, now they're making it a requirement for any participation in the contest.
So done with level 2. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions out there? I think we had a great meeting. How did you think this level 5? Yes, Komikas.
I did have a couple of questions,
Mhm.
and this is something I had observed from a member doing presentation. So it's a two-part question. It has to do with the presenting about, they had a project where they had to present, for example, they led a committee for something they did in their personal life. They were leading, I forgot what project it was. Is there a specific time frame on when that event they did outside of Toastmasters needed to have occurred? Could it be 10 years ago?
How long ago were they a member?
They've been a member.
Was the project done as a member?
Yes, the project was done. They were a member when they did the project.
So they
But
didn't
the
count it as an external.
experience,
Mhm.
well, it was the project that allowed you to do something external.
Yeah.
But is there a time frame on, if they had to?
As long as you're a member if you're a member of, I don't know if there's a new rule or anything, Rod or Fran, but usually members, another bad habit we have as members is we do these projects, a bunch of projects, and we don't take our books with us. We don't look into Pathways. What does it match to? That's why I harp on that. Match these objectives to something you're already doing and get your credit. Okay. You've done it. They've done it. They have the paperwork. They were a member, because you can see member since. And if you want to look at membership history, you can look at that and see if there was a break in membership. Were they still a member while doing this project? And they just didn't do their paperwork. Did they do the objectives do they do the project according to the objectives? It needs to meet the objectives as closely to it as possible for the VPE to even sign off on that. But what's your thoughts on that, Fran?
So let me give you an example. So they've been a member at least a year. They did a project saying they had to lead some kind of committee. Say they had to plan a retirement party for a coworker.
Okay, managing a successful event. Okay.
Right. So did that event have to be during when they were a member, or could they do the project about a previous experience before they became a member? That's what I'm asking.
No, you need to be a member when you're doing the projects. And if you didn't record that you did the project as a member, I think you could go back and get that recording if it met the objectives. Is that right,
Gotcha.
Rod? Fran? Sorry, Fran. Fran?
That's okay. I'm thinking that that probably would not be allowed to get credit for that, because you have to submit the application to do it externally. You have to have some.
Oh, before the project.
Yes,
Okay. So I guess
Got you. I want to
in
make
the
sure
old
that they
in the old
understand
program
that.
we could. 'Cause
right.
we had the books.
Mhm.
Okay, so the new program, that's why Fran is doing the training on the external training.
That's going to be great for people to hear,
Yeah.
Fran. I can't wait to we have that one. Now,
Yeah,
and I know for the leadership stuff, it has to be. I mean, I know that one has to be while you're active in that
Yeah.
role during that time for that project.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Give me an example on the leadership one. As an officer, you're doing like which project on leadership?
Okay, so say for instance, we have a person that they're not active now. They're going to need to be reinstated into the club.
Mhm.
But previous to their break in service
Yeah.
as a member, they've served as a club officer. They've served at the
Yeah.
district level. But when they come back in and do their project,
Which project?
but that serving the one who had to do the leadership role for a year. I think it's the one you were
So
doing.
so they don't lose credit once they break membership. They've earned the credit. Remember when I just showed you on the other
Mhm.
reports that it stamps right there on there that Tanya served these 6
Yep.
months back in the day?
Right.
Saw that 2008 back in the day.
So when she does that
When she
level 5
reinstates,
project now, yep, after she reinstates,
she's finished with it when she went right because she's
'Cause
done
she's
the
already done
service
it.
already as a member
Got you.
before.
okay. I just didn't know if when
Well,
they do
am I
the
saying that
project,
right, Fran?
yeah,
Because
Well,
she
the only-
didn't do the. Was she a Pathways member when she did?
yes.
Was served in the role,
hmm
Fran?
Has she used the that experience on anything else like a DTM or anything already?
They haven't gotten a DTM yet. I think that was what they were pursuing. So I
Then
know
that-
when she does the project that her 1 year of club
Service.
or district service will count.
Yeah.
Even though she did it in the past, she can still
Yeah.
use it to get credit now for that.
Long as
project.
she reinstates
Yes.
and then do the speech of the experience of the
Right.
1 year service or
Got
6
you.
month service.
Okay.
Yeah, that should count
Okay, cool.
because the service never goes away. Tell her, look in
Right.
there, look at her report and see history.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I just want to make sure when she comes back,
She can do that because
That
she
because
did
she's
it
had that
already. She
break,
just
yeah.
hasn't done her speech.
the
on it.
speech for it.
This is
exactly.
why I say, listen, use that I call it a packing tracking form. Pathways tracking form. I get that right. Pathways tracking form. Track everything you're doing. Because the credit doesn't disappear if you were a member. The service doesn't go away.
Right.
You've done it. You just hadn't done the speech on it. So get all those things done.
And answer my question. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. All right. What were you going to add to that, Fran? Nothing. Okay. All right. Everybody good? Gwen, Miss Gwen, I did say I was going to come back. I did not forget you. You got them all answered?
I got them all answered. I was just, listening,
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't forget you. Okay. Well, I think we're good. Everybody's good. It's been a great session. If you want to be a champion, I know everybody's stretched thin, but I'm going to put the call out to the TV audience, to the YouTube streaming audience. If you want to be a champion and help your club get this information to your members, let us know at pathways@D44, Toastmasters.org. We'll be glad to help train you on what it is you want to learn to then teach to your club because you are your club's leader. All right. That is my time. Thank you so much for coming to this training. Level 5. We did it. Congratulations, super achiever, triple crown. And I'm going to turn this back over to my leader of the day, Ms. Kelmikas. Back to you. Close us out.
Thank you. Thank you. And let's say everybody give her some cheerleader fingers, some hand claps for completing our pathways training all the way through level 5. Thank you so much, Toastmasters Latanya. We really appreciate this approach that you have taken to our training to district members. I want to close us out by making an announcement about opportunities for leadership at the district level. If you are looking to enhance your leadership experience here in the Toastmasters program, we encourage you to try out a leadership role at the district as an area director, a division director. They have multiple committees that you can serve on below all of those positions. So if you are interested, please let your current area director or division director know. We also have our program quality director here on our training call today. If you are interested in doing any of those things, there is an email address. I'll drop it in the chat. It is dd@d44toastmasters.org. Again, that is dd@d44toastmasters.org. If you are interested in serving at the district level in a leadership position. Again, thank you all for attending today, and we wish you much success on your Toastmasters journey in Pathways. Have a great weekend.